Most people grow up believing that emotional attachment is obvious, loud, and impossible to miss. As if feelings always announce themselves clearly and confidently the moment they appear, but psychology tells a very different story, one that most people never learn until they experience it firsthand. Real emotional attachment rarely shows up in dramatic ways, because it doesn't need to prove itself. Instead, it begins quietly, almost invisibly, slipping into behavior long before words ever catch up. That's why attachment often feels confusing, because you sense something forming without having solid evidence to explain it. You feel a shift in energy, subtle closeness, a change that doesn't have a clear starting point. And that feeling, as uncomfortable as it can be, is usually your intuition noticing patterns your conscious mind hasn't connected yet. When someone starts getting emotionally attached to you, their brain doesn't suddenly decide to fall for you. It slowly begins reorganizing how it treats you, without asking for permission or making an announcement. The change doesn't show up in what they say, because words are easy to control. It shows up in how they react, how they remember, and how they unconsciously adjust themselves around you. One of the earliest signs is so subtle that most people dismiss it completely. They start remembering tiny details about you that you barely remember sharing. When someone's brain starts associating you with comfort, safety, or interest, it automatically tags information about you as meaningful. They're not making an effort to remember. Your brain is doing the work for them. Another powerful sign appears in the way their emotional state begins to sync with yours over time. When your mood drops, you notice they soften or quiet down without knowing why. Then there's a shift that shows up in communication. But not in an obvious way. They start finding reasons to reach out that don't actually require a reason. Messages that don't have a purpose, conversations that don't need to happen, yet continue anyway, because once attachment begins, interaction itself becomes emotionally rewarding. Talking to you stops being about exchanging information and starts being about maintaining connection. Another change happens quietly, almost cautiously. As if their mind is testing emotional safety, they begin sharing parts of themselves they usually keep protected. Not all at once, not dramatically, but enough to feel different. Thoughts they don't usually voice, feelings they rarely explain, experiences they don't share with everyone. Emotional attachment lowers psychological defenses when someone feels safe with you. Their brain stops guarding every emotional doorway. They trust you without saying the word trust, and often without realizing they're doing it. And when that routine is interrupted, something feels off, even if they can't explain why. There's also a noticeable shift in how sensitive they become to your reactions. Your tone matters more than it used to, and small changes in your energy don't go unnoticed. Your approval begins to carry emotional weight for them. Attachment heightens emotional monitoring. When someone values your response, their brain constantly scans for signals of acceptance or withdrawal. The final sign is one that most people overlook because it sounds harmless: future-oriented language. Not promises, not commitments, not big plans, just casual references to later moments, shared time, or imagined situations. The human brain doesn't naturally project shared futures with people it feels nothing for. Psychology makes one thing very clear. Emotional attachment is rarely something people say out loud, something they reveal slowly, through consistent patterns over time. And once you learn to recognize those patterns, you stop guessing and second-guessing yourself. Because emotional truth doesn't hide, just whispers, and the people who matter always reveal how they feel long before they ever admit it.